Presidential aide Loretta Onoche has responded to the presiding Bishop of Living Faith Church, David Oyedepo, over the comments he made regarding the new Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, CAMA, which was recently assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari. This had been introduced and new regulations for it, also for religious institutions in the country. Its provisions include that religious and charity organizations would henceforth be regulated by a supervising minister and the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC. And of course, you know that churches in Nigeria, unlike the churches in other countries, I'm talking about the West, they have the same law working for them. They just do not operate without the government being involved in it. In the US, in the United Kingdom, churches are registered under charity, and if you say charity, you cannot sell books. You have to circumvent it, you have to find a way around it, and if they find out, they catch you, well, you know what it is, you will face the consequences of it. So if you are registered and you're not paying tax, and you open up a church and they realize that the church or your organization is for money making, when you say it is charity, then you know what it is. Now, I know a lot of people react to this, and because no one likes Buhari presently, they don't like what's happening in Nigeria. But the truth is that we oftentimes embrace what the structure, the system abroad in many of these Western countries. Some people do a lot of things to travel abroad. They fast, they pray, they do a lot of things, and you wonder, why is it that you want to go to such countries? Because there are rules and regulations that have been put in place, and at least 90% of them are being obeyed and followed through and through. That is why things are working. If things are not working there, you will not go there and you expect to be paid when you work. If things are not working there, you will never expect to be paid your pension. If things are not working there, you will not have the structure and the system, the way it works over there. So when you talk about the government regulating things, I understand that the reason people are going to react to this is because the government themselves, they are not responsible. So if a government is not responsible, they are criminals, they are thieves, and all of a sudden they want to bring laws that they themselves do not obey, then that's where there's a problem. So I understand this with Nigerians, but in general, I am telling you that abroad, churches are registered under the government, and the government regulates. They check their books. They check to make sure that they are not making money for themselves somehow here and there out of charity. Now, that being said, well, Bishop Oyedepo is a man that is known to speak. He is very vocal, particularly in this administration. He had cautioned the federal government against meddling in the affairs of churches, saying, "Don't try it when this crude prophet is alive." Now, that being said, still, it is good to be vocal. If you keep quiet, we are saying many of these pastors, bishops, clerics, imams, many of them are not speaking truth to power. What I just want to say is that it is not just a government that is Fulani or Hausa or Muslim that should be spoken to. Even a person that acts as if he's a Christian but not a Christian and steps in there as a president or governor should be spoken to also. A thief is a thief, a criminal is a criminal, notwithstanding religion or tribe. The fiery preacher, during his sermon on Sunday, expressed concern that the government could someday appoint occultists into those positions to oversee church affairs. But responding in a tweet on Monday, Buhari's media aide, Onoche, you know that woman, she speaks, she tweets, she talks just whatever it is. She speaks against IPOB, speaks against everyone. Atiku said this and that. She feels that she's covered because presently she has some security around her. Onoche said it's either Oyedepo lived by the laws governing the country, or he should create his own country. Oyedepo will have to manufacture his own country and live by his own laws. As long as he lives and operates within the entity called Nigeria, he will live by Nigerian rules and laws. He will do as he's told by the law. Enough of lawlessness, said Loretta Onoche. It's a sad one there. We are talking of a government that is full of lawlessness itself, and they are saying someone should keep to the law. Yes, it is good to follow the law. It's good, as the Bible says, that constituted authority should be obeyed. Even Jesus Christ did obey, even though the laws of those days and the people then weren't that good. There were people that were about to kill him, but there are certain things that he had to obey. So there are laws that Christians should obey, pastors should obey, aside laws that are detrimental to the growth and progress of the church. Now, people reacted to this, and we're going to go through a few of them so as to see what Nigerians are actually thinking. What are they thinking as regards this? Someone say it's a shameful and senseless comment by the bishop because the law was made by the legislator who are representatives of the people, which means the law was made by the people themselves. So anybody to come out to challenge PMB against the law is rascality and lack of foresight. Someone say, what about the lawlessness of Fulani herdsmen, bandits, Boko Haram, et al.? And that's a reality. That's the truth. What about the terrorism? I'm talking about a government that is lawless, a wicked government, and all of that. And they want to come up with a law. Is that what is needed now? Why can't they address the most important? Why can't they come up with laws? Why are they coming up with laws to pamper terrorists? What the hell is this? So when you look at it, you realize that there are things that they need to focus on. They are not focusing on it. Yeah, they are coming up with laws and they are ready to enforce laws on churches and mosque or whatever it is. What is this nonsense? It's better they focus on the most important thing that's happening in Nigeria. Someone say, I've never seen this Loreto Noche speak or condemn the Fulani herdsmen killing in Nigeria or the Southern Kaduna killings. The way she always speak against church and other people, the church will march on and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Yes, I want to agree with this because I understand that there is still lawlessness in the church too. Let's be sincere. Let us tell ourselves the truth if we have to move forward. There is lawlessness in many churches, in many mosques. There is so much lawlessness. It's still the same cancer that is eating the politics and the government of Nigeria. That's the same thing you find replicated in churches too. Let's tell ourselves the truth because it's still the same thing. Church is spiritual, yes, but we are physical beings. The country is also physical, yet we are also spiritual beings. People pay tax. Government have resources from the country that they annex here and there. Yes, it's the same with church too, and many of these mosques too. The church also does what they annex. They get money. Money does not fly from heaven spiritually. No disappearance of spiritual money. Money comes from the people in the form of tithe and offering, just like how you pay tax. The only difference is that one manages your spiritual life and of course your physical life, because we are not going to throw that up, and the other is just your social and your physical. That's the country. So you'll find the same lawlessness in some churches too. The same thing that the government does, that's what they do. They are dictators. They take everything. They buy big automobiles, promise their members bigger miracles here and there, and collect money from them. We understand all of these things. But then, do you think the solution as regards the law that the federal government is coming up, do you think that's going to curb any of these things and regulate any of this? Well, I think that the best thing that the federal government needs to do is to come up with a stronger punitive measure, stronger measures against corruption, against looters. That is, if they are ready to work, and also to attack the menace of insecurity in Nigeria. Let them deal with this first. If all of these things are in place, how then do you think they will come up with a law to regulate the excesses of some churches and to regulate some things if the people that are regulating it themselves are people of integrity? But how can someone that is a criminal, a thief, someone without integrity, now be the chairman or the head or the president or the governing body of churches and mosques? How is that possible when the person is a criminal? The person is not even worth to be there. You have to lead by example before you say you want to come up with a law and you are going to have someone standing there and speak and talk to the church. What nonsense is this? Lead by example. Let the people be comfortable to know that whatever law is presented, whatever law is brought up, will be respected and be obeyed, because the country itself, the people have shown integrity. They've shown that when people commit crime, when people steal, they are punished as it's supposed to be. So someone said the new rules introduced into Kama and signed by the president has been long overdue, and kudos to the government for this sincerity of purpose. The idea of using religious to exploit people will be checked, hence we may no longer witness the era of monkey they walk, baboon they chop. What about the country itself? As regards this statement, what about the country itself? We are talking of a country where they are all bunch of criminals themselves, and they are talking about regulating the excesses of churches. What about regulating NCDC? What about regulating Nigeria that is sold out to China and mortgage mortgage Nigeria to China, all because they need to borrow money? What about all of this? So when you look at all of this, you realize that they have nothing as regards all this coming up with stuff. Anyway, now let us be sincere. Like I said initially, I said this Kama law is operating in South Africa. It operates in Britain, United States. If you could remember, Bushiri is a very popular, I think it's from one of these other African countries, but is domiciled in South Africa. Bushiri, when he had some issues in the church, the same organization like this Kama called him up and they sat down to deliberate. We are talking of people who are not Christians. They sat down and that's how it's done. they all sat down like a committee to question and query him. That is how the law operates. But what we are saying is that the country itself have not shown example themselves. We've seen them as criminals and irresponsible people. So this Kama law is operating in South Africa, Britain, United States, Germany, and all of this. The purpose is to control church leaders to convert, so as not to convert church funds for personal wealth. But what about the government? How do you guide against fraudulent activities of churches, of mosques, swindling people, if they themselves are swindlers, if they themselves are thieves? So that's what it is. What's your take about this? Let us talk about it. Drop it in the comment section.